Dear colleagues, today I would like to talk about Faco Chop and hopefully convince you that it is probably the best, the most natural, and the most physiological way which will help you to break down the crystalline lens. So, to understand this or to support my statement, let me give you some facts. Occurring in nature, there are two types of bodies. The amorphous body, which has a pretty disorganized internal structure and is densely packed. On the other hand, we have the crystalline bodies that have a remarkably well organized internal structure and has a great internal framework. The crystalline bodies have intrinsic fracture zones within them, which makes it easy for us to crack them rather than amorphous bodies, which do not have these intrinsic fracture zones. Now, in crystalline bodies, we get the brittle fractures, whereas in amorphous bodies, we have ductile fractures. A brittle fracture is one that breaks on intrinsic fracture zones and creates an even cracked surface, whereas a ductile fracture is something which occurs leaving behind unequal surfaces. A ductile fracture will require a compressive force in order to bring about the fracture. It requires a lot of energy and creates severe plastic deformation of the substance that is being fractured. Whereas in case of brittle fractures, all we need is a gentle shear force. The amount of energy required is much less, and there is none or minimal plastic deformation that will occur to the fractured body. Now, the human crystalline lens, of course, is crystalline in nature and hence has intrinsic fracture zones. Now, these are the sutures. As the lens epithelial cells begin to grow from the posterior capsule, it meets at several places to create the sutures. There are several types of sutures called the line suture, the stellate suture, the Y suture, and the radial suture. Now, this photograph that is taken in a congenital sutural cataract gives us ample evidence about the existence of these sutures and therefore intrinsic fracture zones within the natural normal human crystalline lens. Now, once a crack has been initiated in a crystalline lens, now this easily spreads as it joins up with the intrinsic fracture zones. The evidence that the fracture occurs and the crack spreads is known as crack propagation. Let's look at this grade 2 nuclear sclerosis. I'm initiating the crack. I've just separated the nucleus at one point. However, this crack has propagated itself throughout the entire length of the nucleus. You can see that with a gentle movement, even without lateral separation, the crack has extended both vertically and horizontally. With just minimal shear force, I'm able to generate a crack, which will be pretty obvious in this case. Minimal shear force, not even lateral separation, and you can see that the crack has already happened. It has spread downwards as well as horizontally. This is known as crack propagation, which is a feature of crystalline bodies and the crystalline lens. Now let's consider a slightly harder cataract. This is a grade 3 nuclear sclerosis. I'm wearing the phaco tip close to the center of the nucleus. I'm initiating the crack, and you see that I give gentle lateral movement. Now this crack, which was initiated at 6 o'clock position in the hard nucleus, has completely propagated itself not only vertically downwards but also horizontally towards the 12 o'clock position. So when I actually rotate the nucleus, you find that the crack has gone through and through, involving the lower half of the nucleus. So I just bury and separate. I do not crack it at this point because the crack has spread and propagated. Now this is the reason why you expend much less energy while cracking up a hard nucleus or a grade 2 or a grade 3 nucleus using the direct chop rather than when you employ a trenching maneuver. Now we find that as the nucleus becomes slightly harder and harder, the crack propagation becomes slightly less. Even though there is good crack propagation, and you find that the crack immediately spreads downwards in order to break up the nucleus. In fact, I feel that The word facilitated fracture is a better terminology than actually calling it a chop, because that's what we do. However, in nuclear cataracts, something happens, and that is there is an accumulation of chromophores and insoluble crystallines that occur within the nucleus core that changes the nature of this lens from a crystalline substance to an amorphous substance. Let me give you an example in this case. A patient who has got a hypermature cataract, the nucleus in this particular case has become small and extremely hard. It's lost its crystalline nature. It's accumulated the chromophores and insoluble crystallines, and it's become extremely amorphous, which is the reason why we generally refer to these lenses as having an amorphous core. So I'm taking due care to create an adequate size capsular rhexis. You see a hard amorphous core of a nucleus within the capsular bag. Now kindly watch when I attempt to chop this nucleus. I bury with bevel down position to enable me to get a quick hold of the nucleus. I use sufficient energy, I expose enough amount of tip to bury the tip as deep as possible. And however, when I initiate the crack, what you will find is there is a very shallow crack which is happening. First and foremost, I require a lot of force as well as a lot of plastic deformation is happening to the nucleus, and the crack does not happen deep enough. Even though I buried deep enough, I'm not able to have a vertical and a horizontal propagation of the crack. In such cases, it is better to use compression forces to break down the nucleus rather than shear force, and a horizontal chop maneuver would be much more successful in breaking down these nuclei as opposed to a direct vertical chop. So there is minimal amount of crack progression. So only that the portion of the separated nucleus that I am separating with the sharp tip chopper is separated. There is no propagation of the crack extending throughout the entire length of the nucleus. In addition, you find that the nucleus has become leathery and it has become hard, and it is very difficult to separate it. A lot of energy and force is required to separate the fragments, and a lot of plastic deformation is happening to the nucleus in attempting to create the chop. In contrast, in a grade 2 nuclear sclerosis or nucleopalacine cataract, you can see that the crystalline nature of this lens enables us to easily initiate the crack, to create a crack progression or propagation both in the downward and the horizontal direction, to use minimum gravitational energy in order to break down the nucleus into many parts, and then to use again a minimal amount of gravitational or phaco energy to eat up the pieces, which therefore makes the direct chop maneuver, especially in the case of grade 2 or grade 3 nuclear cataract, or even in hard cataracts which have a brittle nature rather than a leathery nature. In these types of cataract, probably the direct phaco chop is the most physiological way of breaking down the lens, because it will reduce the total amount of phaco energy and it will take advantage of the natural intrinsic fracture zones that seem to already exist within these lenses. I thank you for your attention.